love, family. Peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah. Dropping in again with another video for the conscious brothers, sisters in the conscious community, keeping the struggle. Because we know that it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say that it is in fact the process for progress, and that the race is never to the swift. It's always to those that remain dutiful. So you gotta be willing to stay in this thing for the long haul. Y'all already know that my videos would never constitute legal advice. I'm not a legal counsel. I'm not an attorney. But I am your brother that share with you education and information about my walks and travels throughout my journey called life. And I like to extend these honors to you, because when you're honoring man and woman, you're honoring yourself. Also, I like to give adoration and acknowledgement to Allah, who is the head temple of my life, and extend that same love, courtesy, and acknowledgement to all of his messengers and all of his prophets. And I like to say peace to all of you. Beloved brothers and sisters, in grand rising to the indigenous people. How y'all doing? Mainly the indigenous people of the Americas. I just wanted to talk a little bit about letters of credit, kind of like shed a little light to help you understand a little bit better what a letter of credit is, and basically how a letter of credit works. If you've never read the Contract Act of 1877, you need to read it, study it, dissect it, internalize it, so that you understand how contracts work. Alright? We live in a contractual based system where offer and acceptance is one of the main elements of everything that's happening. It's based by some offer being accepted that's creating some sort of performance, and most of us don't know when we're actually in a contract, or we don't understand the difference between an agreement. So shed a little bit of light, if I really had that Contract Act in front of me, where I can actually go through it and break certain things down to help you better understand how offer and acceptance work, I would. Alright, but I want to say that a letter of credit, usually when you're requesting for a letter of credit, you usually submit an application for a letter of credit, right? And a letter of credit, when it is offered to you, you got to remember, I keep saying that in this system, in the system of bankruptcy, a debt is considered as value. Okay. Alright, so a letter of credit is usually, whenever you apply for credit, right, or you apply for something in this system that we live in, usually you're applying for credit. The reason why it's considered as credit, no matter what you apply for, is because you got to remember that the United States is bankrupt. Alright, now, we didn't say America was bankrupt. You got to understand it's a difference in America and the United States. All right. So before I go into the letter of credit, I'm going to talk a little bit about the states to help you better understand what I mean when I say the United States versus America, or what we would call the United States of America. Okay, so the United States of America is not bankrupt, but the United States is bankrupt. All right, so every state is its own country, right? So when you're dealing with the actual America, right, each independent state is its own independent authority, and it is considered as a country. So Missouri is a country, Texas is a country, Ohio is a country, and so forth and so on, right? Every country has its own rules, has its own laws, has its own constitution, right? And that's the reason why you have the United States Constitution, which is the federal constitution, and then each state on a state level has its own independent constitution separate from the federal constitution. Okay, now one of the main things that we suffer from today is us not knowing the difference of jurisdiction and understanding the federal and the state. All right, now each country, which is Missouri state, Texas state, Indiana state, each one of those countries has its own district state. So Missouri state has its own district state called the state of Missouri. So you got two states. You got Missouri state, which is the original state, and then you got the state of Missouri, which is the district state. Now, when we were born in Missouri state, but at the time when we were born, Missouri was doing business in the District of Columbia, which is an overlaid state at the time when you was born. So when we were born, they registered us in the district state, which is the state of. So if you in California, when you were born, you were registered in the state of California. If you from Indiana, when you were born, they registered you in the state of Indiana. When I was born, they registered me in the state of Missouri. Now, that's not the original state. That's the district state, right? Which is the colorable state, where all business, all persons and personnels and so forth and so on, this is where they put you at. So they put you in the wrong jurisdiction, right? When they arrest you at birth, they arrest you in the wrong jurisdiction purposely. This was all part of their scheme in order to control you, because they really don't have no authority over the people. All the people are free and independent. But when they arrested us in the district as persons, then that gave them control, because they have authority to control persons. So a lot of people talks about nationality, right? Nationality deals with your political allegiance to a nation state. All right, so if you were registered in the state of Missouri or the state of Indiana or the state of Texas, the nation state that you are a citizen of will be the United States, because those are District of Columbia states. So anytime you hear the word state of, or the state of Indiana, the state of, just think of the District of Columbia, which is the main state. And all those state of are like municipalities of that major state, which is the United States. And that's why they want everybody to believe that you're in the United States. Instead of saying you're in America, they're saying you're in the United States, because the United States is the federal corporation, and each state of is a state of the District of Columbia, which is the United States. So the United States has two names, the District of Columbia and the United States Federal Corporation. Both of those entities are the exact same entity. So when they arrested you in the District of Columbia, because they arrested you in one of the district states, I'm just trying to make it to where you can understand why they're trying to say you a U.S. citizen. They're saying you a U.S. citizen because your citizenship you was arrested in the district state instead of being arrested in the republic state, which will be the original state or the territory that they have actually outlined and took a possession of, right? So nationality deals with your political allegiance to a specific state. So we've been domiciling and we've been residing in the district states. We've been residing in the state of Missouri, the state of Texas, the state of Indiana. We didn't went and got IDs in the state of Texas, the state of Indiana, right? But we don't understand that it's a colorable state. We think that this is the original state created under the original Constitution, but it is not. It's an actual different type of state, right? So I'm saying all that to say that nationality deals with your allegiance to the original state that you're supposed to be a part of. Like I said in the beginning, each state is its own nation state. So Missouri is its own nation state. Let me give you an example. Like, I learned this a long time ago because I was incarcerated. So, being incarcerated during time, you learn a lot of things from, incarceration. So, like, I can have 5 or 6 felonies in the state of Missouri. And then I can go to Illinois and catch a new case. As long as I don't use any information from Missouri, it will be my first offense. And I can have 20 felonies on my name and the social security number. Now, I'm trying to get it to you. Under the name and social in Missouri, I can have 20 felonies. And I can go to Illinois, don't use no Missouri identification cards or nothing. Go in there and use a Illinois address, use my same name and social security number, the exact same name and social security number, and get me a state ID or register myself with that state under the same name as the same person and have a clean profile. Because each state is different from the other state. I can have a suspended license in Missouri, and as long as I don't take that suspended license to Illinois, I can go in Illinois and register with all Illinois information, address and everything under the same name and social and get a whole new license, even though the one in Missouri is suspended. Now, you got to ask yourself, why is that possible? Because each state is its own nation. It's its own nation, right? It's different from another state. They trick us. They say when you carrying drugs from one state to the next, they call that interstate commerce, or they'll say you committed a federal offense. What they're not telling you, the reason why it's federal is because you're leaving one country and you're importing drugs into a whole new country. When you leave Missouri and you go into Illinois, you're in a whole nother country, a whole nother constitution, whole different rules and regulations. So what they had to do is deceive us so we would never know this truth. They had to uniform everything. So they came up with a district state, the United States District of Columbia, and then they overlaid every state with the district state and made each state a part of its state. So Missouri state became the state of Missouri. Illinois state became the state of Illinois. So in order to deceive the people so we wouldn't know what they were doing, they had to come up with a uniform code. So they came up with the Uniform Commercial Code, and they uniformed everything. So when you go in Indiana and you go in Missouri, it seems and it appears that the same laws, rules, and regulations are in each state because they're using uniform law to trick you, right? They're not using the constitution of that state. What they're using is uniform, UCC. So they adopted the uniform codes, the statutes, and they make each state codes and statutes applicable to the other states. So when you go in Missouri, you got a sale of goods or a consumer fraud and deception act. When you go to Illinois, you got the same act, Illinois Fraud Consumer Deceptive Act. So this was part of the uniformity in order to make us believe that all the states were the same under one umbrella called the United States. So when you in Indiana, you wouldn't think nothing was wrong when they say you in the United States. You would think, oh yeah, we in the United States, but really in actuality, Indiana is a whole different country from the United States, right? Texas is a whole different country from Missouri. But under their uniform laws, they try to make everything one state. And this is how they've been tricking us. This is how they've been deceiving us. So we would never know that we would never think about America and be in American citizenship. All we would think about is United States citizenship in United States persons. So in order to get us to fall for the trickery, they had to create a nexus and create all these rules and regulations to uniform everything in every state. So when you go over here, they talking about the United States and Texas. When you go over to Missouri, they talking about United States, and all the Missourians or the Texians are calling themselves U.S. citizens. You calling yourself a U.S. citizen and you saying you live in the United States. I'm calling myself a U.S. citizen and I'm saying I live in the United States, and I'm saying that all the states united together make up the United States. That's a damn lie. They've been lying to you. Every state is separate state. They each their own municipalities, and they're totally separate. They're only united in the District of Columbia when it comes to business. See? And that's what they don't want you to understand. See? So your nationality deals with you coming out of their state. You've been in their state. How long you been in that state? How long you been in the state of Missouri, or the state of Indiana, or the state of Texas, or the state of California? How long you been in that state? Huh? How long you been in that state of thinking, state of mind? Huh? Not knowing that that's not the right state to be in. See? So now, when it comes to nationality is you understanding that the state of is not the proper state to be in. That California also has a republic state called California State, not the state of California. And you being born there, your birth certificate from the district proves that you were born in California, which means that you are a citizen of that nation. Because California is a nation, state. It got its own constitution. Texas is a nation, state. And it got its own people and constitution. Missouri is a nation, state. And it got its own people and its own constitution. So you being of that nation state, being born here, your nationality is when you pledge allegiance to that state and claim your rightful position to that state as a citizen under that state to be governed under that state laws, rules, and regulations, and not the state of. See, because in the state of Texas, the state of Missouri, you're dealing with the federal state and the district states and the district courts and all of that. But when you go back to the original state and claim your allegiance to the actual republic state and say that you a Missourian, you a Texian, and that you indigenous to these lands, it changes the dynamics. So now the same civil rules of procedures, all those laws that they've been using against you that they call law, which is colorable laws, because those are not the original laws of that nation state. Those are adopted laws under the district state that they're using in their overlay to deceive you and make you think that these are the real laws of the state when they're not. When the Constitution and the laws under the Constitution are the actual real laws of that nation state. See, when you start coming out of that dark state of thinking and you start realizing how you're being deceived, it changes the dynamics of everything. Don't you know that once you claim your nationality back to your original state and domicile back in the republic, that they can't use those foreign laws against you anymore? Huh? They can't use all these sale of goods and contract acting. They can't use all that comes with the district. Do you get it? Only law that applies to you when you make your allegiance is your constitutional state laws, which are the main laws which should be governing. Don't you know that if you look up your state right now, the constitution for your nation right now, if you look up your nation's constitution right now, if you born in America, don't you know they say that they can't charge you in nothing but gold and silver? I guarantee you, every constitution of every nation state say that they can only charge gold and silver for debts and obligations. But if they put you in the district state, now you getting Federal Reserve notes. Who told you Federal Reserve notes was American money? You an American. Why they giving you foreign money? The Federal Reserve is not an American institution. So if you an American, why they not paying you in lawful money of your nation? Huh? Now you know what lawful money mean, right? As an American, your lawful money will be American money, meaning United States dollars backed by gold or silver. Not no Federal Reserve, no. Why are they giving you something other than what you should be getting? Huh? Because they're trying to say you're a part of their regime. They're trying to say you're one of their citizens under their colorable corporate whatever they want to call it, that they didn't put together. But once you start learning this knowledge, man, and you start giving yourself the right information, your life will begin to change. You will start to understand why the passport is so important to you. Why they can't scan a goddamn passport. Wait a minute, if this is a United States document and we in the United States, quote unquote, why the hell you can't scan my passport? Why you can scan a state ID when I go to the store, and if I need some cigarettes, you can scan a state ID. But if I give you a passport, it'll crash your whole system down. You like, oh man, it ain't scanning. It messed up my computer. Why? Because if this is the United States and this is a passport of the United States, why you can't scan the damn passport? Because it's two states. See, they tricking you with what we call acronyms. Words, they using acronyms and similes, and they're tricking us with the language. Don't you get it? Don't you understand? Do you really? Dorothy, all she had to do was click her heels 3 times, and she realized she was already at home. You've been living in a foreign jurisdiction the whole time you at home. And all you had to do was click your heels and say you want to go home. And you could have went back home the whole time. You've been living somewhere else thinking you was at home. Because it had the appearance and it looked like home and it was pronounced the same and it kind of sounded like Texas. But it wasn't actually Texas. It was the state of Texas. Woo! Boy, when I say these people ran a cold one on us, man, they ran a cold one on us. You hear me? They can't box with God, though. They can come up with all the deceptive acts and practices they want to. Once we go back to the republic, you wonder why the American government is not active? It's because you're not active. You're not active. Huh? You ain't active. You want to be in a foreign state. You want to deal with foreign agents. How we know they foreign? Because according to the American laws, there are no titles of nobility. I ain't like, go read your constitution. Go read your nation state law. And it's going to tell you that there are no titles of nobility. Anybody who gains a title has gave up his citizenship. So if you dealing with attorneys, judges, prosecutors, what do you think you're dealing with? You're dealing with foreign agents. These are foreigners, man. Perpetrating it, acting like they are Americans when they're not. Don't you understand that they fooling you? Making you pay bills and pay debt by putting you under their corporate status when they know you're an American and this is your land, and that all you got to do is claim your rightful right back to your nation as an American, but they got you so wrapped up in the United States, you can't see America. You so used to being a U.S. citizen, you can't see being a national. You can't see it. A lot of y'all think it's just, I'm going to get my passport and I'm good. No. When you go to the Social Security Administration, when these people pull up your records, it still say U.S. citizen. Even though you got a passport. You know that if you go back and watch old movies, anything that had to be fixed, they had to fix it through the courts. Do you understand that? Don't you know that if anything is wrong with anything that's going on, it got to be corrected by the courts? Everything that they did to you, they did it on the records. They changed the records. They did everything on paper. So you got to fix that paperwork. You know, you can't just say you a national. You got to declare that on with them. Don't you know that the district state is acting as an agent over the original state? You ain't know that? They're acting as trustees over the people. The people are the original state. So your trustees are saying you are a citizen of their state and you are of the original state. So in order to correct your status with them, you got to go through them and let them know, hey man, y'all got my status wrong. I'm a national. I ain't a U.S. citizen. I rebut anything that represents citizenship to the district, to the United States, or me being black, Negro, or colored. I'm actually from this land. You know, and you got to declare that. It's a proper procedure in a proper way. You got to learn how to sue the state. They ain't going to tell you how to do none of that. They ain't going to tell you, man, I filed a petition and nobody answered the mud. I'm like, what the hell? They told me I had to do, because they play games. They don't want you to know how to file, how to sue them, how to do none of that. So you got to go through steps, stages, and degrees. Like I say, when I open up, you got to figure it out. You got to learn how to sue their ass, how to sue the state for your rights, to claim whatever rights you have. It's not hard. We just got to learn the process. Every time they dismiss a case, they dismiss it without prejudice. Why? Because they can't prejudice the rights you hold. Nobody can take away your natural rights to be who you are. So every time they dismiss a case, it's going to be without prejudice. You see what I'm saying? And it's a learning process, man. Trust me, I've been learning this thing, man. I just had to say that, man. But I got to get ready to go. I'm going to say this about this bill of credit real short, real quick. So a bill, like when you receive a monthly bill, right? That's called a bill of credit. It's a bill of credit. It's evidence of credit that was given to you by an institution in which that institution is holding your rights to the credits. So every month when you have a right to receive those credits from that institution, if those credits are outstanding, the only way you get a bill is if the credit is outstanding, meaning that the institution has an obligation to you. So if they have an obligation to you, they'll forward you notice of their obligation, how much it is and when it's due, because it's an outstanding balance with them, right? So a letter of credit is your rights to receive the credit and defer the payment, right? The way you defer the payment is by accepting that credit. A lot of people say turn it over and pay it to the order. You really don't have to do nothing but sign the bill, right? And then you charge the creditor for the payment of the bill. Now, I got a course, man, that I got going on right now. It's a new course that I just started, right? It's a 6-month, you get in 6 months, but I'm going over intricate details on how to make payment. I'm actually going over the Treasury Direct. Man, listen, boy, I got some, y'all know I got that info. Y'all already know I got it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know, Brother Isaiah holding, man. I'm holding it for real. Because I've been blessed to learn how to seek it out, right? So I got some information, man. I suggest that you sign up. I suggest that you sign up. Go to my website, sign up for my new course. It's a 6-month course, so you can start learning some of the stuff that I'm sharing. You know, a lot of the information that I'm sharing is not even some of the stuff I've been sharing in my memberships or none of that, because, you know, I have so much information. I ain't been able, like, most of my memberships is like teaching, showing you, you know, credit literacy, banking, helping you understand what's going on. Now I'm more like, with this course, I said I need something more, you know, suitable to the needs of the people, you know, because a lot of times I share my documents or, you know, my own intellectual information. I usually make it that person's responsibility to learn how to do a proof of claim or do a notice of dispute. You know, like you know, you got to use your brain. But in this class, you know, I'm more hands-on with what I'm doing, with what I'm showing you, how to create documents, what documents you need to use. I'm going over the EFTPS system, the federal tax payment system, right? If you don't know what that is, you need to go Google it and look it up. But I'm going over that. I'm showing you how to actually use that system. It's certain things that you have to do in order, because if you've already signed up for EFTPS and you've been trying to make payments, you know that they always get returned, right? They return them every time. If you want to learn how to stop that from happening, that's why you want to take this course. Because in this course, I'll be showing you things you need to do in order to make sure that everything go through like it's supposed to. So it's a lot of things that I'm going to be revealing and showing and teaching in this course hands-on, right? So I really made it to where I can actually show you the step-by-step processes. Like when I'm talking about today, the letter of credit, explaining what it is, but in the course, I'll be actually showing you how a letter of credit works, how you make the payment, because I'm not actually telling you how to make the payment. I just say you got to make the payment. But in the course, you will actually learn how you make that payment. You know what I'm saying? Step-by-step process, showing you how to, you know, what things you need, what you need to be doing. So I just wanted to put that out there as much as I possibly can, because I want y'all to understand that, you know, what much is given, much is, in fact, expected. And I'll be explaining your Federal Reserve account, right? Like, man, look, hey, I'm going to come back today, inshallah, and I'm going to do another video. I'm going to show y'all something, you know, just to tickle your fancy, just to show you, like, you know, like, this, I ain't playing. I'm dead serious. Like, when I say I got that info, I got that info. And when I show you, when I come back and I'm going to show you a little something, I'm going to read a little something and break some stuff down, show you a source page of information for you to go study. But when I show it to you and you see what it is and what it's talking about, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your socks off. You're going to be like, wow, I can't believe, like, man, yeah, this just a token, just to show you that when I say I'm holding that information, I'm dead serious. I got that info. I'm dead serious. And I'm trying to make it to where, you know, I can give it out in a way that, in a responsible way. You see what I'm saying? Whether just throwing it everywhere all over the internet. But, you know, so if you want to be a part of that, go to the website, check it out, sign up, get in, so you can start learning. I had a class yesterday. We had a beautiful class. It was really a Q&A. but they ain't had no questions for real. It's like people be having 1,000 questions for me, and then as soon as they get into class with me, they freeze up like they don't know what to say. They you know, they don't know what to say. Oh, this brother, I said you ain't got no questions for me. Like, come on now, you should be having. I know if it was me and I was dealing with a knowledgeable brother that got information, I have a million questions for him. I done thought of a million different things that I wanted to ask this brother, you know. So I just wanted to say that, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all look forward to me coming back today. I don't know what time I'm gonna come back, but I'm definitely gonna pop back up on this screen today, and I'm gonna go through some information. I'm gonna show you something that's, anytime I show something, it's always something that's needed. It's always good information. You know, I don't come on here and give you nothing that you can't use. So when I come on here and I drop it, you already know it's gonna be fire. You already know how I get down. So y'all stay tuned. Make sure you like the video, man. Give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you share my video, man, with as many people that need this information. And by all means, man, keep the struggle, because like I say, where there is no struggle, there is no growth, there is no development. You know what I'm saying? Just keep believing in yourself and keep striving in truth no matter how hard it gets. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Put your hard head on and go to war, because we is at war right now. We in a spiritual warfare, and you got to be spiritually minded to deal with the evil of this day and time. Salute, peace and love to all my real ones.